Hello and welcome back to What the Frick podcast. Today is going to be a mini episode. Last week was kind of intense with my news segment, so I thought I'd lighten it up a little bit by discussing some recent events that have happened to me regarding the male species. So recently I decided to delete Hinge, the dating app, until my birthday. I had this great fantasy that I would, meet a guy and then be able to possibly invite him to like my birthday. 'Cause I'm having like a small get together with my friends. And I was like, oh, wouldn't it be so cool if I meet someone and I can like invite them to my party? And I was like, this is not gonna happen. Like, what are you thinking? Let's be realistic here. I was spending so much time on this app, which I mainly just use as like a social media platform to see what people look like. And I'm like, this is not beneficial to me in any way. It's a waste of time. And it's like a month till my birthday. So I'm going to just delete this for a while. And I'm like, I've matched with hundreds of people and like it's gone nowhere. I wanted to just start from scratch, delete the app, in a few weeks after my birthday when I'm feeling good. I'll re-download it, see if anything happens. But I took a break from it. Just wanted to kind of focus on myself and my friends and my work for the time being. So that was a good choice I made. However, right before I deleted the app, this may have been like one of the reasons I decided I'm done for a while. But I matched with this guy who was very cute and was actually very talkative and like responding back in like a timely manner. And all of a sudden he mentioned in one of his messages, I think the message was, oh, like, what are you doing tonight? And I was like, I'm doing this. What about you? And he was like, I'm watching my son. And I was like, what? Like, this guy was the same exact age as me, 26. And I'm like, what do you mean you're watching your son? I didn't say that, but I was like, huh? And he sent another text that was like, his mom is at a concert tonight, so I'm watching our son. And I was like, Jesus Christ. So I went back through his profile to see if he had the thing where it can tell you if you have children or you don't have children, or you have the option to like put nothing. And he didn't have anything in there about him having or not having children. It was just like there was no info on that. And I'm like, bro, like, I feel like that's a good thing to put in your profile because, like, some people are just not going to be into that. And I am one of them. And as soon as he said that, I was just, like, immediately not into it. I did respond back saying, like, oh, cute. Like, how old is he? Because in my head, I was curious, like, when did you create this child? Like, 'cause if the kid's, like, 5 years old, then you had it when you were like 20. But if he's like, a couple months, then like this is a very recent thing. Either way, it doesn't like look good because if he's 5, you had him when you were like 20 years old. And if he's like 6 months old, you like just had him. So like, where are your priorities? It's a lose-lose situation, but I was just honestly curious. So he did respond, and I was just like, I'm not into this. Like, I think he said he was about to turn 1 year old, and I just like stopped responding. I don't like the idea of ghosting someone, but in this situation where I've exchanged literally like 5 messages with you on a dating app, I don't really owe you anything. Like, the amount of people that just don't respond to me, or I'll like look back in the app and it's like unmatched, I'm just like, okay, I don't need to respond to this guy. Some people may not care about this, material fact of a child, but I'm at an age where I don't want to date someone with a child. Like, if I was 40 years old, I'm probably gonna have a different mindset on this, but at 26 years old, I don't want to date somebody with a kid for a few reasons. One, their number one priority is always going to be that child, as it should be. I'm not saying it shouldn't be that, because it should. but I'm not looking for someone who has that as the number one priority. Like, I want to be high up on their list of priorities, and it's just like, ugh, your kid's always going to come first, as it should be, like I said, but I'm just not in a place where I want to deal with that. I don't want to think about having to meet the kid. And you're also tied to, you know, that other person, in this case, like the mom, whether or not they're dating, which clearly these people weren't, because he's on a dating app. You are now tied to this woman the rest of your life because you have a kid together. And again, it's just something I don't want to deal with. So that is my right, that is my prerogative, and maybe guys don't want to put that on their app because they think it is like gonna turn women away. But like, why do you want to date someone that's not willing to like deal with you having a kid? I don't know the best way to say this, but anyway, I had that experience, and yeah, I was just not into it. And then I think the other guy that really solidified me taking like a month break was him messaging me saying, like, first thing he said was, "Oh, what are you doing for Labor Day weekend?" And I was like, I'm staying in Arizona, like where I live. Like, what about you? And he was like, "I'm going to Vegas." And I was like, "Oh, cool. Like, I used to live there. It's really fun." And he responds with, "Do you want to come with me?" I've never met this man. He didn't even ask anything about myself other than, "What are you doing for Labor Day weekend, and will you come with me?" And again, it's like entertainment at this point. I'm not gonna go. But I'm just like, fun. I'm actually working that weekend though, which I am. It's not a lie. And he responded with, "How much money are you gonna make that weekend?" I'm like, well, how am I supposed to respond to that, first of all? Like, I'm not gonna give you a number. So I think I literally just said, I don't know, like, does it matter? Like, I have work. And his response, which is like so cringe, was, "But I want you with me. I don't know you. I've never met you. You don't even know my last name. You don't know anything about me other than that I used to live in Vegas." It's just so cringe to me. And I'm just like, what? Like, obviously you're just looking for someone to come with you so you can like hook up with them. Like, no. And so I, again, like just said, "Okay, well, I have to work." Because again, I'm curious to see how men respond to things. It's like a social experiment at this point. Like, I knew I was done with this guy, but I just want to see how they're going to respond to things. So I said, "Okay, well, I have to work. Like, nothing I can do. Haha." And then checked back the next day, and he had unmatched me. So I'm like, great, yeah, all right, perfect. You're really using this app for, you know, a good reason. You're here for the right reasons, my man. So yeah, that was kind of like the point where I was like, I need a break. I'm done. I need like a juice cleanse from dating apps. So that was that. Last thing before I end the episode is I was at a work event, and all of a sudden I hear this guy like calling my name, and I had like headphones in too, but I could still hear. And I like turn and I see this guy who looks familiar, but I can't place him or his name. And I'm like, "Oh, hi." And then as he started to talk to me, I remembered who he was. And it was this guy I had gone on like 3 dates with a few months ago before I went to Europe, who we had just both like stopped communicating with each other. And he's like, "Oh, how are you?" And I'm like, "I'm good." And like, it was very clear I was at work, so like I couldn't like talk for long. But I was like, this is so uncomfortable. And he was like, "Yeah, well, I'll see you around." And I was like, "Okay." and then I was just like so uncomfy. I like didn't even want to like walk back to that area that he was in because I was like, I don't want him to try to talk to me again. I think I'm just not in the headspace. And when have I ever in this whole time I've had this podcast been in the headspace to date a man? I don't think ever. Will it ever change? I don't know. But those are my recent thoughts on the male species lately, and yeah, I will keep you guys updated when I decide to re-download that amazing app. It would be crazy if I got back on the app and just like met my husband. Okay, again, so dramatic. That's not gonna happen. But I can dream. All right. Well, thank you all for listening to that chaotic episode, and I will see you guys next week.